Hello everyone, and a very big welcome back to my channel. It's lovely to have you back. Firstly, I would like to say something that's actually really special and nice to me. I'm getting a little bit flustered here. This video was actually sponsored by my very first YouTuber sponsor. What's the words I'm looking for? Someone else who makes YouTube content, and I chose to have them feature on this video because I feel like it ties very well in with what this video is about. I'm going to be chatting to you about my paranormal spiritual experiences. If you hadn't seen the first half of this video, then please check that out. I have already discussed why I am a spiritualist and why I got into the paranormal, what drove me into that world, and sort of like my introduction. Oh my god, words! Sort of like my introduction to it all. This video is going to be about communicating to the dead and my experience with that. Firstly though, this lovely lady called Julia Zelg, probably said that wrong. She's recently brought out an EP, and she, more importantly, has recently brought out a music video for one of the songs called Twisted, and you will understand the themes as soon as you listen to that song. And it's kind of new goth themed. I think you guys are really gonna like it. Please check out the video. Possibly tell her on the video that you came from me. Those of you who have been watching me for a while know that when it comes to music, I'm all about a unique vocalist, and I'm all about something different and weird and quite, you know, out of the box. And she definitely, I've got like hair in my mouth and it's really frustrating me. She 100% screams that, so I'm going to leave a link to the music video down there for you. So now let's get on to this part of the video. You guys had asked me questions on my Instagram page that you wanted to know about my paranormal side of my life. I've decided to sort of introduce this part of me into my YouTube channel a bit more. Now the first question came from Sinister Bat, which is a very fitting username. They asked, by the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, what you doing? Follow me on Instagram. Have you had any paranormal experiences? I feel like this is a good place to start. I feel like this video is definitely going to touch up upon some of the different paranormal experiences I've had, but just to sum things up very quickly now, I've never had an unexpected, unasked for paranormal experience. So the only paranormal experiences I've ever had is when I've gone ahead and like asked for someone to come through, or like played, I don't like saying played, used a Ouija board, things like that. Like I've never sat in my room and then like seen a ghost, you know. I did speak about the only type of paranormal experience that I've had that was kind of like unusual and unexpected. I will link a video to that down in the description because I literally made a whole video on that experience and it's a really cool story actually. Definitely one of my favourite stories to tell. So yeah, I'll leave a link for that for you. So when it comes to experiences, I've gone on ghost investigations. I've been to the spiritualist church a number of times. So this question here comes from Kez. They asked, have you used Ouija boards before? And if so, what was your first experience like? Whom or what did you communicate with, and who would you like to connect with? So this is the main thing I want to talk about really. This whole video is going to be about communicating. Now, I don't own a Ouija board. I have sort of mixed opinions when it comes to the Ouija board. This sounds silly probably to a lot of you. A lot of you are probably going to hear what I say and say, well, there's no difference. Whatever you use, it counts as a Ouija board and you can still let bad entities in and all that. But I've always felt a little bit uncomfortable about a Ouija board, although I'm still interested about them because I know that they were designed as a game and I don't like how they have that on the board. I don't know whether that's the thing that they need to write on there for it to be sold, or like, I don't know what the reason is behind that, but I don't feel like the Ouija board is a game. Yes, I have used a form of Ouija board, I suppose. I've always used like a glass, an upside down glass on a table, printed out letters in a circle, and then that way the glass can be used to communicate words across. The first time I've ever like came near to a Ouija board was very recently during a ghost investigation that I went to. There is a vlog that is coming on my channel very soon about that, so if you're interested in that, then stay tight, stay subscribed, because I filmed my most recent ghost investigation. But yeah, was that time and I felt really uncomfortable. I don't really know what my stick is with it. I've always been told to stay away from them and use other forms of communication. I don't know, but I didn't really gain anything different from that experience to what I would usually if I was doing a glass. I just feel more comfortable with that method. I didn't gain anything different from using a Ouija board. I just think that you can use whatever you want. If something is there to communicate to you, it will communicate to you. So just for conversation's sake, I'm just going to say the table. So I used the table for the first time years ago, literally as a family. So my family have always been into this kind of thing. I just remember that moment that the glass moved, like even just twitched for the first time. I will not forget that feeling. It was just almost as if, I can't even explain it. Obviously we live in a world where things don't move themselves, you know, it's not normal, and as soon as you witness something like that, as soon as you feel it for yourself, it's just odd. There isn't a word to describe it properly. Can I just add a side note here? I've always been really well protected when doing this. I know what I'm doing. I'm not doing it for fun as a game. I've been taught by people who have been doing it for years and years. The very first person who ever came through, I think, was my granddad, who died years and years and years and years ago. It was really cool at first, like obviously to hear from him, like more than I had heard from him in real life, because I remember him but not having a conversation with him. So it's weird to think that I feel closer to him now than I've ever been before because of how the fact we talk through the board, which is a really odd thing to think about. But he is somebody who literally comes through every single time I've ever done the table. It's almost as if he kind of is like protecting us. I don't know, I just feel like his presence around during the table is just a really nice feeling because it's a familiar person. He can come through and give some evidence that is him, and I instantly feel better. And then one time during a session, some like person came through and was asking for me, and I instantly felt really uncomfortable because I always get really worried when someone comes to me because I'm just wondering what the hell they want. And they were spelling out a name that was very long, and we had to keep asking for them to repeat this name because we didn't want someone just to be coming through and messing us around, because this can actually happen. If someone does come through and is just spelling gobbledygook, you need to end that chat with them because they might be a bad entity, or they might just be messing around with you and being silly. So we kept asking this person to give the name back, give the name again, and it would spell the name like exactly as it did before. And that's when, because I was with my mum during this session, and my mum had said, like, do you look after Ellie? Are you her guide of some sort? Like, who are you? Are you a spirit guide? And then we later found out that yes, it was a really high up presence who lived in like the 12th sphere or something, and they were genuinely my guardian angel, guardian angel, whatever you want to call them, someone who looks after me. And they literally just came through to tell me to work hard. And it was an odd experience because I've never really thought about guides before until then. Now though, which kind of ties into the next question I got from Fairy Sherilyn, which is, do you believe in guardian angels? If so, do you have one? So I don't necessarily believe that they are literally an angel, although I do believe angels exist because I've known a couple people who have actually seen one before. I do believe that you have people like almost aliens, they are kind of aliens in their own little way, who look after you, and their sort of purpose is to guide you through life, make you do all the things you're supposed to do, and help you and support you. And they don't necessarily make you successful, or like if something bad happens to you, that doesn't mean your guide's like gone on holiday or something. They are there. In fact, they are there more than ever when something bad happens because they're there to help you through it. I think at one point I also had my other granddad, who I literally never met, come through. My dad's brother, I think, came through. Just a few random people. I haven't done the table for years, so there are actually unfortunately a lot of people that died in my family quite recently who I've never had the chance to talk to on the table before, because I haven't done the table for so long. Until very recently, when I had done the Ouija board, like I was saying in that ghost investigation last week or so, my granddad, who recently died, he had come through on that, and it was just a really like shocking experience to have someone come through for the first time. You feel odd, I suppose, because you've always known that person to be a physical form, and all of a sudden, hey, like you're talking to them for a medium, and it's just a very odd feeling. Yeah, so I don't take it lightly, so my experience was really good and not scary, because the intention wasn't for it to be scary. Spoilers123 asks, if confronted by a paranormal entity, whether it be kind or malicious, how would you hope you react? How do you really think you would react? Some people might come through who you don't have a big enough idea of who it could be, and that is why it's so important for whoever you are talking to give you really good evidence about who they are. So instead of them just saying, you know, spelling out Nan, I could spell out Nan on a board to you and you would assume it's your nan, but you need something that is almost 100% solid proof that it is them. So I could spell out my road name that I used to live in, or like a nickname you used to give me, or maybe even something more personal, like I could mention a conversation that we had when you were young, or I don't know, I could mention stuff that is very personal between you and me. Horror films do show us, you know, ghosts and spirits are scary and they've got crazy powers, but at the end of the day, we are stronger than them because we are alive, we are living. If I was confronted by a bad energy, I've always been told to show that you are stronger and to not let those scared emotions come through and be obvious. They're winning in a way, they're kind of like defeating you and they have more power, I suppose. I don't know how much of this you guys will believe, but that's just the kind of way you should always approach something, even if you're not sure about what it is. Although that being said, it can probably be very difficult. Realistically, I would probably poop my little panties. It is a very difficult thing to do, obviously, to not be scared when your natural reaction is to be scared, but yeah, I'd probably just crap myself, basically. There's not really much else I can say about that question. I'd probably crap myself. There we go. The next question comes from Kaylee, and she asks, your opinion on TV shows about the paranormal, such as Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Witness, Most Haunted, etc. Love you and your videos millions. Thank you so much, Kaylee. Mwah. And thank you for your question, because this is something that I definitely wanted to talk about. I have kind of mixed feelings about entertainment paranormal shows because of the fact that they are called entertainment, and I feel like they kind of have to be titled that by law to be shown on the TV or something like that. But I've always felt a little bit uncomfortable about them because I don't trust editing. I am someone who really loves editing, and I love the idea of editing and manipulating things, not in a bad way, just in a way that you want it to come across. And I know how easy it can be just to drop something really small in to make a little bit of extra money and to keep your program running, because programs won't run if nothing is being found in an investigation. And I just don't think investigation should be done for that reason, you know, like sort of like entertaining the public in that way, because as great as it is, like I do think that is a good reason to start a paranormal show, to entertain an audience. But when your view count, like your views and people's opinion, is literally the only thing that's going to keep your program on TV, it does make me wonder a little bit if they ever do, you know, add a few bits in. I can never really trust it. I'm a lot more into YouTube investigations. There are a lot of YouTubers out there who have channels that do little ghost hunts and stuff, and I know that they can manipulate things too if they really want to, but I watch a few that I can trust and I feel like they're really good. And honestly, the ones that I really like are the ones that don't actually have a lot happen, because then you know that if something does happen, then it's the real deal. And I also like people that debunk anything that happened, which basically means someone who will say, actually, no, that was a door creaking, or that was my dad upstairs, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's less pressure on them to do well, I suppose is what I'm saying here. I also think the editing in general for those programs are really over the top and cringy. Like, every 2 seconds there will be a woman going, ah, pretending to be a ghost, like for the transition cuts and stuff, and there's spooky music in the background that like freaking blasts through your TV when you're trying to listen to what this person was hearing on the EVP, and stuff like that just annoys me. It's to keep people entertained, I totally understand that. I just wish they had one that was a bit more boring. I guess I'm just boring when it comes to stuff like that. I will watch a horror film if I want to be scared by someone with makeup on, or these funky like transition slides with lightning bolts and stuff like that happening. I will go to watch a horror film if I wanted that, but when I want to actually get some factual stuff, I don't want that. Kirsten Rain says, do you believe a person can be possessed? This is an interesting question because this is the one thing that literally frightens me to the bone, because I do believe it. Actually, the closest I've come to that, not me personally, but seeing that, is when people go in like a seance and they can like become... they can become someone else. It's quite interesting to see somebody who's, you know, naturally very shy to be sat there and then suddenly like bellow out this really loud, deep voice because someone's communicating through her. You can also look in mirrors and shine a light up your face and you can take on the reflection of a dead person, like someone who's trying to show you what their face looks like on your face, if that makes any sense. That just instantly reminds me of Casper, the friendly ghost. That scene in the mirror. Anyway, other than that, I have never got any form of evidence of a possession happening, but I just feel like they are possible, and that's one of the reasons why I protect myself like overly if I'm doing the board or anything, because I'm just worried about anything like that happening. Also, the reason why I'm so freaked out over the film The Exorcist. It's such an old, crappy film. Well, it was great at the time, but now people look back at it and laugh, but I don't find that funny. I find that freaking petrifying. Oh, what was the film about the possession? The Exorcism of Emily Rose. I watched that film and it also shook me to the bone because it was based on a true story apparently. Yes, she might have had some sort of illness that made her that way, but either way it freaks me out and I've literally got goosebumps just thinking about it. If you haven't seen that film and you're into horrors, you're particularly interested in something that could potentially be true, watch that film because it will freak you out. Creepy stuff, but I looked it up after watching the film and then I immediately wished I didn't. The next question comes from Captain Afghanistan and they asked, how do you tell if someone is faking during the Ouija board? I have played it a few times with some of my friends and supposedly have contacted several people, but I don't know whether to believe it or not. How can I tell if it's real? Honestly, just do it with people that you trust. With me, I've always done it with my family, so I know that my family wouldn't be a big enough arsehole to move a glass and pretend to be our granddad or something. Do you know what I mean? There wouldn't be any motive for them to be a dick like that. So for me, that's just really helpful. And for you, I would honestly just maybe suggest, if you ever do it again, perhaps have a go each of you on your own. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It might not work because you need a lot of energy, but it's good to maybe experiment with different people. Yeah, don't do it on your own in general. Like, start with them and possibly suggest, hey, why don't we all take it in turns to have a go on our own? It could be quite a good idea to ask questions to the board that these people could have no idea about, and that way when a message comes through you're gonna know that it's not them pushing the glass because the question you've asked is like so unusual. It could literally just be something like, okay then, what colour is something something in my bedroom, you know? Supposedly they know everything, right guys? So that will be a good test, I would say. But I understand why that's really difficult. This question comes from Loopy Louise 260317 and she asks, do you believe that when someone close to you has passed, they contact you through your mind by helping you through life decisions? So there was more to her question, but I don't know how much like she wants me to say on the video. I 100% believe this, and I honestly encourage all of you guys, if you're not sure about this yourself, I 100% encourage you to speak out a bit more, talk a bit more to those who are out there to help you. If you just feel like you're in a slump, you just feel like you need a little bit of help, sit there and simply, you could just be on your bed like I am now and say, I really need your support right now, or I really need some sort of guidance right now, or what shall I do? Can somebody help me? And as crazy as you may seem, you never know what may come from that. And it'll be interesting to hear some of your stories, to hear if this improves anyone's lives at all, because no matter if you ask or not, you're always going to get help. Have you ever had like a random thing pop into your head, like you just feel like you should go do something or go see someone or talk to someone? A really common example is when you think of someone in your head randomly and then they start ringing you 5 minutes later. It's almost as if like you're being told something from another world. Things fly into your head. You simply need to act on them because they could easily just be a message. You don't even need to see a presence or like see a relative that you're really missing. You can just simply hear them in your head, or it's not even in their voice or anything, it's just your own mind. So yeah, next time you get a feeling about something, you might not be making that up. There could be a reason that you're thinking that. So the last question comes from Kita, and they ask, have you got someone you would like to connect with from the other world? So, ooh. Yes, immediately when I read this question, the first thing I thought of was my sister. I don't think anyone knows this. I don't think I've spoken about this before, but my sister, who was born after my oldest sister, so I was just a twinkle in my dad's dirty eye. What? A dirty thought in my dad's eye. I don't even know what the term is, but I wasn't born. And she had unfortunately passed away very early on in her life. She was still a baby and she wasn't even brought home. This room that I'm in now was made up for her to be, because this was like the baby room. And yeah, and the reason why I would really like her to come through one day is just for my mum's sake. My mum is a heavy believer in all of this, and we've spoken to every single person in our family that has passed away, but for some reason not her. And it's just a real shame, and I just think it's interesting and confusing and a little bit odd. My mum's even spoken to really good mediums about this, and she's not the type to ask for them to talk to someone in particular. She's not the type to beg. At first she would give hints like, oh, I'm waiting to talk to somebody and I really want to see if you can get in contact with them. She's tried that, and then she's tried literally sitting with someone and saying, I really want to talk to my daughter. Like, nothing has really come through, and the most we got was that somebody could see her just standing there smiling, not speaking. She just stands and smiles and she doesn't speak. I don't really know what the reason is behind that. So those are all the questions I have. If you would like me to do any more videos like this, could you please give me some suggestions in the comments, because I could literally talk about all of this kind of stuff for years. I could just sit here and make so many videos, but I need some sort of topic direction, so all suggestions will be read in the comments. I'm open to all of your ideas. And for now, I'm gonna love you and leave you guys. I am on social media such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and Snapchat. I've got a podcast on my Patreon page. I have shirts, and as well as that, you can subscribe to my channel to be notified every time I make a brand new video, because I make videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. People still ask me what my schedule is. That's my schedule, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!